Good afternoon. My name is Steve Paquette. Today's date is April the 5th. And today we're going to be looking at interpersonal communication. And as I studied interpersonal communication, I realized that I am not a very good interpersonal communicator. I am not one who likes to listen. I am one who likes to speak before I listen. So doing this assignment has really helped me develop what I believe are good interpersonal communication skills and a way to implement those in my life. If I had to define interpersonal communication, I would say it's the way that we listen and receive information from other people and how we process that in our life and repeat back to them what we've heard, or being able just to talk to them in a way to show them that we've heard them, that we care, and that we have listened. One of the first things that we did in this class was to go over the DISC profile. And as I done the DISC profile before, my results came out as an I/S/D. That really didn't surprise me. I know kind of who I am and my personality and what it would come out as, but the I/S/D showed me that I'm outgoing, loving, caring, fun to be around, comfortable being a leader, life of the party, and popular, optimistic, all those positive attributes. Some of the negative attributes, however, of a I/S/D person talked about not going deep in relationships, being passive about conflict, almost maybe even avoiding conflict, more motivated to impress people, follower at times, not someone who plans well and makes rash decisions. My background is that I'm a middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister. I always got along with everybody for the most part. I sought attention even growing up in high school and elementary school. I sought attention in good and bad ways. I would do anything to get people to like me. And as I've noticed throughout my life, if I look back and do a little reflection on my life, I've noticed that I've always done things to please people at any cost. I was willing to do whatever it took to get people to like me. And that often got me into trouble and often got me into some situations that I did not need to be in. You know, as we started going through this and looking at this, one of the barriers that I've seen in my life is that I don't listen well. And listening is defined by a man named Saeed Kumar, who wrote an article for the chemical engineering process. And he defined listening as generally defined as a conscious cognitive effort involving primarily the senses of hearing and leading to interpretation and understanding. So really listening to understand. And so for me, some of the barriers I've run across is that people do not go deep with me, and that kind of linked back to my profile and what my profile said about me in the DISC personality. I tend to talk over people. If I have an idea that I want to share, or if I have something that I want to say, I tend to try to get my ideas heard, but even before that person might be done speaking. And I found that people don't often get as personal with me because I tend to want to get my point across before they're done, or maybe they have something else to say, but they don't say it because I've cut them off. In an article titled Listen Up, a definition of hearing and listening was defined, and hearing someone is not the same as listening. Smith and Bishop have said that hearing someone is not the same as listening. And in James Peterson's book, Why Don't We Listen Better? He defines it as, I hear, but I don't listen. So I do hear a lot, and I think that gets me in trouble at home sometimes with my wife, because my wife will ask me if I'm listening, and I'm like, yeah, I heard you. But that's not the same as saying, yes, I've listened to what you're saying, and I'm responding to what you're saying. Hearing and listening are two different things. So some of my goals and strategies It would be to develop better listening skills for deeper relationships with coworkers and family. Be a better listener will help me at work and with my family. One of the things I want to do is wait till someone is done speaking before I start speaking. And if I find myself talking over that person, then I will apologize to that person and let them finish speaking before I speak what I want to say. I'll also repeat back what that person is saying. I want to be able to show them that I've comprehended, that I've heard what they're saying, and repeat back to them what they have said. In Essential Guide to Interpersonal Communication, a book that was written, there's something called a soul listening friend, a friend who is emotionally and spiritually present in my friends or my coworkers' lives, meaning that I want to be spiritually and emotionally connected to them. I want them to feel as if I hear and listen to what they are saying. And then in a book called Helping Skills for Human Services Workers, France and Welke talk about 3 different things that help build positive relationships. And those things are empathy, warmth, and genuineness. And in empathy is repeating back to a person what they are saying. So I could find myself being able to repeat back to that person what they're saying so they know that I have comprehended what they're saying. Repeat back several key words they might have said so they know that I've picked up on what they're saying, and I'm not just hearing what they're saying, but I'm also listening to them and helping them know that I've heard them. And then being sensitive to the person. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe they're pouring their heart out to me, and I just need to be sensitive to what they're going through. Warmth, as France and Welke described, the second attribute of a positive relationship is warmth. I want to acknowledge the right of the person speaking to feel the way they do. I don't necessarily have to agree with that person to really acknowledge that they feel the way they do. I want them to feel as if I'm non-judgmental, that I have non-judgmental respect for them, meaning that I'm not going to judge them for what they feel or what they say. I also want to be able to point out consequences to that person without being judgmental. Maybe if I'm listening, I'll be able to tell them some of the consequences of what they're talking about or maybe what they're going through without being judgmental. And then that will let the person know that I do truly care for them because I'm listening to what they're saying. And then genuineness. I want to be truthful in all my communications with people. I don't want to have to put up a front. I don't want to have to put up this image of who I want them to think I am. I just want to be real and authentic with this person in a relationship. I oftentimes have a problem with saying more than I should, so I don't want to say everything that I'm thinking when I'm talking to someone. I want to make sure that they have a chance to get their point across, but I don't always have to say the things that I'm thinking. I want to be real with that person. I want them to let them know that if I don't understand what they're saying, I want to be genuine with that person and say, hey, I don't understand, but let's try to figure this out. Let's try to figure out what it is that you're saying so I can help you or or even just be that listening person. And then the other thing about being genuine is not making promises. Don't make promises that I can't keep. I think if I do these things, I'll become a better listener. If I talk to my coworkers and family and friends and tell them what I'm doing and that I want to be a better listener, I want to have deeper relationships, I want to do these things, and I have them hold me accountable, then I will be able to effectively communicate with them better. And to end, I want to share a quote from M. Scott Peck. He says, "You cannot truly listen to anyone and do anything else at the same time." Thank you very much.